guys! Today I wanted to make a video showing how I made my Ahsoka Lekku. I'll make sure to tag the products that I used in the comments below, and if you have any questions, feel free to write below the video and I'll try to address each one. And without further ado, here we go! To start this project off, I purchased a pattern from Commander Pop-Tart on Etsy. I made two different versions of this headpiece before landing on the final pattern. I had made slight adjustments so that it would fit my head shape a little better. I'm using 1/2 inch upholstery foam, and I started off with green, but I didn't like how the green showed through, so halfway through the video you'll see that I had started over with white foam. And the white foam is available at Walmart. This green foam is available at Joann's. Here you can see I am gluing my pieces together using Barge contact cement. In order to use this, you want to make sure to use the proper gloves and respirator to protect yourself. You can alternatively use this in a really well-ventilated space. And here are all the pieces assembled. I used Smooth-On's dragon skin silicone for this project. It was really user-friendly, especially for a first-time silicone user. It doesn't drip as much as some of their other silicone products. You can see I'm wearing my respirator for this part of the process, and I've since learned that you don't actually need to wear a respirator for this part. This is my first layer of 3 of the silicone. This layer is just to establish the silicone on the foam base. I worked in small sections to cover the whole piece, and then if my silicone dried out, I would just remix another batch and then keep spreading, and over time the whole piece got covered with a thin layer of silicone. Once I let the first layer of silicone dry, I was able to mix up some more silicone to do the second layer. For this layer, I used a product called Thi Vex to thicken up my silicone a little bit more so I could build it up a little bit, sort of like icing on a cake. You just want to add 1 or 2 drops at a time of the Thi Vex, otherwise you can cause cure inhibition, which means your silicone won't set up. As I was working on this layer, I would spray a product called Smoothie to smooth out this layer. It's very much like cake decorating and smoothing out the icing. You can see I'm working my fingers over the sections that I've added silicone to. So you'll add some silicone to the base, and then you can spray the smoothie product on it. It comes in a spray bottle. And then you can smooth it out with your fingers, or you can use a palette knife, anything that works for you to smooth it out. And this helped me to hide my seam lines as well. You'll want to work on small sections at a time with this, especially if you're using the smoothie product, because you won't be able to layer your silicone over the smoothie. So you'll work in a small section, you can spray the smoothie product, but then you'll want to let that section set up before you move on to the next section. After you've let each section set up with the smoothie product, you'll want to let your silicone dry, and then you can wash the smoothie product off with warm soap and water. So you'll have to work back and forth in small sections, and you really do want to wash all of that smoothie product off, because if you try to layer your silicone up over top of that product, your silicone won't stick to itself like it normally does. Here you can see I'm washing the smoothie product off with the warm soap and water like I mentioned earlier. Next, I started to mark out where the blue lines are on this headpiece. I worked off of an image I found of Ahsoka online so I could figure out my proportions, and I used these pens that disappear with heat. And I'll link where I found those below. Once I was happy with the line work that I had, I was able to create the blue color for my markings. I used Silc Pigs to get the color. And Silc Pigs are highly pigmented, so you don't need very much product to get a really rich color. It's helpful if you write down your color combinations so that you can easily replicate it when you have to mix a new batch. In addition to the Silc Pigs, I mixed in xylene in order to thin my paint so I could stipple it on easier. You can also use naphtha or odorless paint thinner, available at hardware stores. I used a piece of my upholstery foam to stipple this on. I also bought some cheap brushes just to get the finer line work in. If you're using the odorless paint thinner, you definitely want to wear a respirator or work in a well-ventilated room because the fumes can be quite noxious. I wanted a satin finish on this, so I used a product called Liquid Sheen. You can see that I painted it on with the popsicle stick, and then I'm dabbing it off with these tissues, which I'll link to those products below. If you want your headpiece to have zero shine afterwards, you can use a matting powder to help with that. I didn't film this part of the process, but for Ahsoka's headpiece, I used a piece of Warbler, and I actually stitched it directly to my foam headpiece, and then I painted it like you normally would with Warbler. And here are some images of the finished product. During my photo shoot, my headpiece did shift around a bit, so I would recommend making a skull cap or a hat to go underneath this so it doesn't shift as much on you.